Oh, I was going nuts. I was out of control. I flipped this guy off on the Golden Gate Bridge. I wasn't even looking. But if I had, I would have seen he was driving this big black pickup truck with smoked windows and an off-road vehicle in the back. He was like from not here, you know, way up north, Oregon, East Germany. And he gets out of his truck at the toll plaza and comes over and kicks 2 dents in my sidecar door like this, bam, bam, and then calls me a fat dyke. The first thing that went through my head was, how does he know I'm fat? Can he see inside the car? Is my face fat? Because I was saying, you know, when my face gets fat, I'm going to lose that weight. Did you drive here tonight? Yeah. Did you kill some pedestrians for me? Because I fucking hate them. Especially the ones from Noe Valley. Anybody here from Noe Valley? Huh? Huh? Fuck you. Because, well, I'm walking here. I'm using my body to propel myself through the universe. I'm not polluting. Oh, yeah? Well, what about all the gas I'm burning waiting for your ass to cross the street, huh? How green is that, huh? Pick it up, bitch. I know. I needed help. So I go to these meetings where they hand out these special gloves that curl around the steering wheel so you can't flip anybody off. You're like, try to drive. They're probably saving my life. I mean, because you can't go around flipping people off anymore. I mean, except for maybe like women and children in minivans. I mean, what are they going to do? Fuck you. Oh, children. My friends in LA, they won't even honk their horn. They're so afraid of getting shot at. Yeah? And they even declassified agoraphobia from the DSM, the doctor's manual, because they figured out, yeah, actually it is scary to go outside. So thanks for being here. And they also declassified narcissistic personality disorder, which made me feel a lot better about myself. In 2000, just 3 years after it happened, I'm at the corner of California and Polk, and I honk at this pedestrian, but it was my green light. And she throws her latte all over my windshield, blinding me. I managed to put on the wipers and pull over and stop the car and get out, and I come storming at her like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And she starts beating me up. I mean, I'm not going to hit her back. She starts beating me up, hitting me, and all of a sudden she drops her keys, and I grab them. Oh my God, I run back to the car, and I lock the door. I've got her keys. Oh, I'm going to give them back. I mean, I was raised right, despite what happened. She comes over to the passenger window, and I crack it just a little bit. I say, you and I are going to work this out before I give you these keys back. Now, I'm sorry that I came charging at you. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. Now, you say you're sorry for beating me up. I'm not going to give you back your keys until you say it. Okay, all right. And let's agree to never do this again here. I saw that it's a cause-effect world. I caused it. All the rage I carried inside, I carried it right at her. Well, no wonder she freaked out. When I got home, I told my wife, I slipped off the curb and hit my head on a parking meter. What? Hey, what? If you have a wife and she marries you after this thing happens to you because she says you're worth it, but she hopes you hurry up and get better because she's not really into rescuing as a lifestyle, then you do not add to her list of shit to be worried about you. No, you hide it. You hide it so she doesn't leave you like everybody else. It's an Indian chief on his horse on the mesa. I don't know where my dad got it, but I grabbed it during the madness that week. That and the 100-year-old Navajo rug. He was going to sell that to get a penile implant. What? This is before Viagra, people. All this Western stuff is what I love about him. It's hard to find something to love about him. My parents were married 49 years, 47 of them unhappy, at least my mother was. 2 years in and she knew. But then, why did she stay? Well, there's something compelling about being desired. But she would question her choice and write about it in her journal for 47 years. Why can't I have a deep relationship? What am I resisting? I can stay here doing the same thing, or I can move, or he can. But it seems expedient to keep living together. I can give in, start the old routine of sex, or I cannot. I played the game for 30 years. I don't want to do it again. But if I do, she was a Pisces, it could make things easier. Why can't it be loving? Her way out was metaphysical, not physical. She began to withdraw or ascend, depending on your point of view, into the world of spirit, the world of the other side. I have no physical body, I am spirit. Stop holding on to anything material, physical, let go. The only lasting phrase I've heard is, I am all in all. Who am I? Where am I going? What is fulfillment, and why don't I quit listening to what everyone says? I don't know what I believe. Just woke after many dreams. Earlier I'd murdered someone. I kept thinking if I awoke it would be a dream, knowing murder had its debt to be paid. Glad it is a dream. Let me confess, I'm sorry I told him prior to surgery that we should separate, as the psychic had told me. Did this cause him more agony in the hospital? Am I suffering some leg pain for what I did to him? Oh, Father, forgive me, in Jesus' name. I wonder how it feels to be continually threatened with splitting up. How did he feel? How would you feel? His way of coping with the fear of being abandoned was to control the money. He refused to put his inherited properties in both their names so they could live a comfortable and debt-free life. Regardless, he's not going to change things to my name jointly. Susan, her feminist lawyer, said, Mary Lou, don't prostitute yourself. Huh. Easy for you to say, Susan. She filed for divorce in the spring of 1997. Divorce grounds no fault, irretrievable breakdown of marriage. Separate property of each spouse is separate, all else to be divided, based on the contribution of each to getting property, including the homemaker. Wondering what my expenses alone would be. Could I live on $1,100? It's 1993, and I'm doing stand-up at this little comedy club on P Street in Washington, D.C. And my mom is there watching me. She just happens to be there at the same time visiting a friend in Virginia. The bit goes like this. So there was one thing we gay teenagers could do that you straight kids couldn't do, and that is that I could say to my mom, who's actually, my mom's actually here tonight. Hi, Mom. Just going to do the bit. Mom, Michelle's coming over to spend the night Friday night. Oh, okay, honey. I was having regular sex at the age of 16 in my parents' house with a woman. You had to do it in cars, but we had sheets. I know, Mom, you knew that. I know, sorry. I go and spend the night with my mom in Virginia. We stay up late. My mom is 65 and has arthritis. Mom, we need to talk. About what? About our family. Why? Is something wrong? Well, Dad's mean to us, and you let him. I do? Oh, don't act like you don't know this, Mom. Come on now, why do you think I've been doing all this therapy, huh? I mean, I could have been driving a nicer car. Oh, Marilyn, do you really think you need therapy, honey? What do you think so far? Yes, Mom, my relationships keep ending. I didn't have a good role model, and I'm just not getting any better. Well, all right. Well, go on. Well, you're not happy. Dad's not happy. Oh, honey, I have my meditation group, and, well, he's got the Elks, and we've got the cabin. Oh, the cabin. I should have known something was wrong when they called it Pittman's last resort. He hoards the popcorn. He eats all the celery hearts, Mom. He's just such a fucking asshole. Oh, honey, he loves you kids. Well, he never tells me. You're still protecting him. I am not. Yes, you are. Well, honey, he has his way. He has his way with us, with you. Well, Marilyn, honey, we did the best we could. You know what, Mom? I'm so sick of you saying that. You know what? It's just not good enough. Oh, Marilyn. Well, you are just so judgmental. Well, what about your spirit? I am that I am. I am that I... What are you, Popeye, Mom? I am that I am the son. I still make you laugh, don't I, Mom? I'm still funny, right? Oh, yes, Marilyn. You're so funny. Well, I didn't know how to stop it, honey. I still don't. I know. I know. But I see what this has done to you. I do. I do, honey. And, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, thanks, Mom. Thanks. But it wasn't all bad, was it? I mean, we had a lot of fun. Well, no, Mom, it wasn't all bad. We had a lot of fun. And we did. We had a lot of fun. We were very adventurous. Well, at least my dad was. He liked to take us on these wild goose chases on vacation. We're in Durango, Colorado. That's where he's from. We're staying at his Aunt Melba's. And he wants to take us to Telluride. This is before you'd heard of it. To show us Bridal Veil Falls. It's an Olds 88 or 98, one of those big fat American cars from the 60s. At first, we enjoyed it. It's thrilling and beautiful. The road is paved with room for 2 cars. But as we climb higher and higher, the road gets narrower and narrower, and then pretty soon there's no guardrail. The 3 of us, my mom, my sister, and I, my brother wasn't born yet, start to get pretty nervous. My sister's the worst. She says, Dad, I'm scared. And my mom's like, Merle, that's far enough. And I'm in the backseat going, I'm tough, I'm tough, I'm tough, I'm good. But my dad just keeps going, and pretty soon it feels like the car is wider than the road. And I finally yell, Dad, stop! Oh, all right. And he throws his arm over the long front seat and starts to back up. No, Dad, no! It's quiet, you'll make me nervous. No, quiet! Oh, all right. I guess I'll have to turn around. No! And he starts doing a K-turn right there with us muffling our little death squeals in the back seat. He's like, and we're like, quiet, Dad, quiet, quiet. When he gets that thing turned all the way around, heading down the mountain. Wow, wow. He kept us alive. Yeah, he kept us alive. Wow, what a control freak. Nobody died till he said. He was in control. He would decide. My sister Karen, who's also gay and also an artist, what is genetic, tells me about the time my dad comes over to Aunt Melba's. She's there in Durango taking care of Aunt Melba in exchange for free rent. She's gotten herself into quite a triangle with my folks. Well, he comes over and he sits down at the dining room table and he starts telling me about this dream he had, Mary. Well, I didn't want to have to listen because I already had to listen to Mom come over and tell me this story about how they had a bad fight the night before, and I didn't want to have to hear that either. But there he's just sitting there and he keeps going, well, Karen, it's just a dream. I'm like, no, Dad, stop. I don't want to hear it. Stop. Oh, Karen. He says, it's just a dream, and in it, I killed your mother. You haven't been happy. I'm 18, about to enter college, still living at home, and I'm already fed up with my mom complaining about my dad. Well, why don't you just leave him? I mean, you could move out. We could go together. We could live together. We could live in an Oedipal complex. I mean, you're teaching, I'm working. Come on. And I was thrilled. I really thought she was going to do it. My sister was away at college. My brother was too little to know what was going on. But, you know, I was 18. I knew a lot. And she came close. But that was the story of her life. She flirted with it and flirted with it and flirted with it until it was too late. Mom, I'm sick of this. A couple of days later, the phone rings, and my dad answers it. Yellow. Oh, hey there. How do you do, Lonnie? Yeah. Oh, no, she's right here. No. Wait. Listen, I just want to tell you, We really enjoyed that dinner you made us, yeah. Oh, and you just look so pretty. Yeah, you're a beautiful woman. My dad is talking to my girlfriend, Lonnie. He never talks to anybody. It's weird. I mean, it's kind of cute. Yeah. Oh, I don't know, probably go down to the hardware store and do some puttering. Yeah. Well, anyway, nice to talk to you, hon. And once again, you just look beautiful. Yeah, all right, well, I look forward to seeing you soon. Okay, well, sure, all righty. Okay, here she is. When I got off the phone, my dad came up to me and he said, "You stay out of my marriage, and I'll stay out of yours." Oh, my mom told him what I said. She betrayed me. I would find myself attracted to women like this for years. So that was the end of my Oedipal phase. I never got between them again. Never judge other people's relationships, because the only two people who know what's really going on in that relationship are the two people in it. And sometimes they don't even know. My sister saw my father that Friday, the day before it happened. Well, he comes over to my studio and he sits down and he says, "Well, where's Mom?" Well, I didn't know she'd lied to him, Mayor. I didn't know, so I told him where she was. Oh, you should have seen his face. He got all calm as if to say, "That's it." It was weird. And then he gave me this big, long hug and he said, "There's a bike in my garage you might want to have, Karen." He knew what he was going to do, Mayor. He bought the bullets 5 days before. She moved out on the 4th, and he went down to Farmington on the 9th and bought them. I know, because I found the box, brand new, box 7 missing. He needed her. He couldn't live without her, Mayor. He left that loving card you sent him on the dresser so you'd find it. She just didn't know what she was doing to him. She just didn't know how crazy he was from all those painkillers. She pleaded with my mother not to go over there that night. My mother wouldn't listen. "Mom, don't go over there. You can get your oil changed someplace else. You don't know what he'll do." No, he wants to do it. He's going to do it. She didn't hear from them that night. The next morning, when she called, no answer. So when she drove over to their house and saw the 2 oil cans there at the top of the driveway, she knew. She knew. My girlfriend at the time, wouldn't that make a good chapter title? My girlfriend at the time was having trouble expressing her feelings. You see, I'd already done a lot of therapy. I'd already learned things like you can't point and blame. Remember that? The good old days where you could just point and blame. You could just go, "It's you, you're an asshole." God, I miss that. You can't do that anymore. I don't know, now what do you have to do? Now you have to go, I feel you're an asshole. There, I feel better. So she gets this therapist. We're living in Marin. And she says to the therapist, "I hear voices." And the therapist says, "You're not crazy. I hear them too." And off they went on their magic carpet ride to the land of make-believe. Oh, yes. But they weren't alone. No, it seems the therapist's ex-therapist, who was also her roommate, Marin, claimed she'd been abducted by aliens and that they kept coming back for her. They'd have these spiritual emergency rescues in the middle of the day. That is, when they weren't channeling Mary with Jesus sitting by. Yeah, they were helping Mary to tell her story with Jesus brooding in the corner. Yeah, it turns out he wasn't a Capricorn. He was an Aries. Quite a temper, that Jesus. And she would come home and say things like, "That's like hanging out with Madonna." And, "Oh, there was no Immaculate Conception, duh." What was I going to do? I mean, the worst had happened. My mom was into all this woo-woo shit. I was just trying to play along, hang on. I even drove her to a church on Folsom Street one night from Marin for a Mary sighting. Yeah, a Mary sighting. We get there, and we get out of the car, and we're looking through the church windows, through the trees. We're like, oh, yeah. You mean like, oh, that little bit of light? Yeah, that is kind of a light. Yeah, that kind of does look like a face. Can we go? I would get home at night, and the two of them would be sitting in my living room, the therapist sitting in the throne chair, and my girlfriend at the time facing her on her knees, and they'd be doing this energy work, kind of touching and groping and touching, but no sex, which is just so Mary. So she was crazier. I was crazier. So I turned to my best friend of 10 years, Sharon. Sharon. We swam with the dolphins during the Reagan era in Kona. And Sharon swears I saved her life. We're out there swimming far away, and all of a sudden she gets a foot cramp and starts to panic. And I swim over and I grab her and I pull her over to the anchor line of a boat. Like, hang on. You're okay, I've got you. No, you're gonna be okay, honey, don't worry. That's good. And we wait until the color comes back into her face and the foot cramp subsides. The waves lapping at our heads. It's going to be okay. I've got you, honey. It's going to be okay. See, you're okay. All right. Now you're going to swim back, and I'm going to be right behind you. I watch her swim back, and then I swim back. We fall in love with Kundalini Yoga. And we spend every New Year's Eve chanting at the ashram in Oakland with our female guru. But we have this like punk rock attitude about it, like we're chanting and we're spiritual, but we're kind of laughing and making fun of it. But we're chanting and we're spiritual, we're laughing, we're making fun of it, we're chanting and laughing and fucking. It was great. Sharon says I was the funniest of all the gay comics back then. And during the gay film festival, we used to make fun of all the lesbian films. Oh yeah, another LLP, another lame lesbian production. And then, when it happened, she just disappeared. Sharon, where are you? Sharon? Hey, Sharon. Hey, Sharon. Come on. Last year, I managed to get her in an email exchange. I said, why? Why did you leave me? And she hemmed and hawed as much as you can in email. But I pressed, why? Why did you leave me? And finally, she wrote, I just couldn't deal with your anger. Boy, that made me want to punch her in the face. Oh, well, I was radioactive. Maybe I would have left me too. I can't say I wouldn't. My parents? But they're Presbyterians. We go to church potlucks. We have dinner together every night as a family. We watch Disney on Sunday. My parents? But it was real. The yellow police tape around their house on TV, the newspaper headlines. I don't know how I cope with this. Let's have a drink. Let's have a couple of drinks. Hey, let's have a bunch of drinks. That'll help. Well, that does help. Well, sort of. Well, I'm working on it. Food helps, yeah. Oh, yeah. The glistening pomegranate sauce over the pork tenderloin and with the purple mashed potatoes. Yeah, with the leathery meritage. Yeah, food porn, that works. Sex, well, yeah, sex works, yeah. I mean, you get 6 hours of endorphin relief from orgasms. So, at this point, sex is just an analgesic. You better have some. then at this age, it's kind of like, oh, leg cramp. Oh, ow, that's my arthritic elbow. Ow. Can't you just rub my knee? Therapy. Therapy. Therapy works. You see, I'd done a lot of therapy before this happened. I'd even forgiven my parents. Things were going really well in my relationship with them, and then they go and do this, and now I have to go back to therapy? I don't fucking think so. Of course I went back to therapy. Only this time I had a bad therapist. Does anyone here know what a bad therapist is? Are there any of them here? A bad therapist is someone who tells you how she had her first orgasm. You can't make this up. I came home and I told my wife, she goes, she said that? I said, yeah. She goes, well, that doesn't sound right. So I fired her. I got a new therapist. I was on my way to see her the day the pedestrian beat me up. I come in with this big contusion. You're like, what the fuck were you thinking? God, don't you wish they'd ever just say that to you? You're like, what the fuck were you thinking, you idiot? But they're not your friend. They're your therapist, which is why I don't have a fucking therapist. Of course I do. Every May 17th, I go a little nuts. The anniversary of their deaths. Oh, not mass murder nuts, like the Fort Hood Muslim soldier. Not nuts like the guy at the Safeway in Tucson last year. Not nuts like the 4 soldiers who got back from Iraq and killed their wives and then themselves. Not nuts like the Army specialist in Gilroy a few weeks ago who killed his 11-year-old sister, his mother, and then himself. No, I'm not homicidal. Even though murder runs in my family now. Nuts like, I leave my wife and my home here in San Francisco, and I get in my car and I start to drive. I don't know where I'm going, but I like to go. I put in a CD of the band Garbage. Yeah, you stupid girl. Oh yeah, stupid girl. Yeah, nobody knows where I am. Nobody can see me. Nobody can judge me. Yeah, I do what I want. Yeah. I don't even know I'm nuts. I just think I'm looking for a pool on a warm summer day. I drive and I drive down I-5 through the farmland about 100 miles till I finally get tired and I pull over and check into a Holiday Inn Express. I take a swim and then I lay in the sun listening to my iPod, crying. The sun starts to go down. I go up to my room, sit on the edge of the bed. What am I doing here? I can't stay here. I call my wife. I'm coming home. Oh, she's been waiting, hoping to see me again. She's the only one. She's the only one with the guts to stay with me no matter how crazy I've gotten. Because she says, you're worth it. And I am. Well, that sounds like a L'Oreal commercial. Death is really very busy. My brother Alan, my sister Karen, and I are at the funeral home making arrangements for the cremation and filling out the death certificate. The funeral director, who knew my parents for many years, asks, and what was your dad's last job? Oh, Karen, no. Oh, he was the office manager of the county mental health center. And what would you like to have, an open casket viewing? Because that will take me a lot more time. Just a cremation. We scatter their ashes at the cabin. Well, we scatter all of my dad and just some of my mom because she liked the cabin, but not as much as my dad. And we put them in Tupperware. Yeah, and yeah, we burped it. She's upgraded now to Fiestaware. The newspaper ran a front page picture of me at the memorial in profile with my arms outstretched, looking like I'm beseeching God. Oh. They had it all wrong. The caption should have said, San Francisco comic Marilyn Pittman, the middle child, tries to upstage her parents' memorial by telling jokes. My sister and I are in their house 1 month later. We're going through all of their crap. Listen, people. Do your loved ones a favor, will ya? Lighten your load. Throw out some of your crap. Stop holding on to all of your stuff. My sister's the worst. She's such a pack rat. She thinks everything has value. We got all these boxes everywhere. I'm like, well, Karen, what about these cups? They're kind of ding. No, I can get 10 cents for those at the flea market. Oh, God. Well, how about these towels? They're kind of great. No, I can get 25 cents for those at the flea market. Oh, God. At night when she's asleep, I take a lot of this and throw it into the dumpster. I mean, if she dies before I do, I'm going to be pissed to have to go through all of her crap. So tonight after the show, go home and throw some shit away, will ya? Don't make us hate you. Merle Brown Pittman and Mary Lou Campbell. American Gothic. My dad's granddad, P.W. Pittman, practically built the town of Durango, Colorado. The former Pittman Ford Motor Company is now a brew pub with a beer named after him, Pittman's Premium Ale. And pictures of him and his daughter, my great-aunt Melba, over the bathroom doors. P.W. was building about 15 houses when the Depression hit, so he went bankrupt, and my dad had to grow up kind of poor in the Pittman Apartments, which is now a bed and breakfast with pictures of our family on the walls. My mom is from Lewiston, Illinois, home of Edgar Lee Masters' Spoon River Anthology. We got the Fiesta ware from a little old lady my granny took care of who lived at the Spoon River Hotel, adjacent to the Presbyterian Church, just across the street from the county courthouse. And that's down the street from the post office, and that's next to Hilda's Pantry, where we used to go on Sundays for smorgasbord. You can't get any more Midwestern than that. Oh, let me show you something. See the swastika? And there's another one here. My dad got this off a dead German soldier he might have killed on the ground in Germany. Once they opened up Omaha Beach, they shipped thousands of our soldiers over on the Queen Elizabeth. My dad didn't tell many stories about the war, but he did tell me one about being on that ship. Seems there was a guy they all hated, a sergeant. Well, and one night he just disappeared. What do you mean he disappeared, Dad? What happened to him? Oh, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Of course you know. Come on, Dad, what happened to him? Well, I guess he went overboard. What do you mean he went overboard? He went over? You mean they threw him overboard in the middle of the night and killed him? Well, we didn't want to go to war with him. We knew he'd get us killed. Oh, he was a real son of a bitch. Dear Mary Lou, I love you so much that even though it will only be a few more days until I can hold you in my arms, I am almost crazy without you. I'm just counting the minutes until I can step off the train and take you in my arms and press your soft, warm lips to mine. They met in Denver through mutual friends. He was on the GI Bill. She was head of her school paper at her women's college. I am so lonely and blue when you're not near me. I love you so madly and passionately with all my heart that I can hardly bear to be without you. I will never stop loving you. Police report. 7 shots fired, 5 in victim's head and stomach, 1 through screen door, 1 in perpetrator's head. The police wanted to keep the gun. They said it was a really nice one. My sister found them. My father had thoughtfully locked the screen door so she couldn't actually enter the home. But through the window, she could see their bodies lying side by side under white sheets on the floor. She called the police. My father was taking a lot of painkillers. My father had had a lot of surgeries. He began to secretly record my mother's phone conversations onto a cassette deck. My sister threw them all out without asking me. But I imagine he got madder and madder, listening to her talk to her best friend, this lesbian spiritual healer cunt. Well, Kamaya, he's just not right. He clings to me in our sleep, and if I move, he grabs hold of me, so I just try to stay still. He's so afraid of me leaving, and, well, you know I want to leave. Well, Mary Lou, you know how needy he's always been. You were just going to have to let Spirit move through him. Spirit knows. Warning! If someone in your life is acting crazy or is highly unstable, don't think they won't kill you. They might. Nobody thought my dad would do this. These are upstanding members of the community for years. So if someone in your life is acting a little nuts, just remember the lady on the nightly news. Well, we never thought he'd go and do something like this. People are actually doing the thing you would never believe they would do. My brother Alan. Oh, imagine being the son of this man. He has 2 new kids after my parents died. He's convinced himself, along with his wife, the crazy Cubana, who got along so well with my mother because they were both so mucho loco, that these 2 new kids are actually my parents coming back in. What, like they're just gonna pop back in, huh? Oh, yeah. Oh, who, us? Oh, the murdered people with bullet holes in our heads lying on the floor. Oh, what? We just had so much fun, we thought we'd come back right away as siblings and be your kids now. What, aren't you happy to see us again? My mother filed for divorce and moved out. The last time I spoke to my mother was on Mother's Day, a week before her death. And she was the happiest I have ever known her. My mother was a poet. This is her last poem. It's one of her better ones. Standing in the wings at the threshold of another life, waiting expectantly for a new scene to appear, from maiden through mother to elder, free finally of cumbrances, lifting arms and flinging head back, she glides onto the sunlit stage, gown of purple flowing, singing praises to herself, who's given and given to parents and children, to husband and friends, and now stars in her own production. My parents were seeing a therapist a month before they died. My father went to this therapist for an individual session, and she recorded it onto a cassette deck, and I transcribed it. These are his words. When we got married, well, she was on the rebound. Our mother wanted her to get married. She wouldn't give me sex for 3 weeks, and I'd get mad at her for making me wait. I acted like an asshole, yeah. Well, I was very frustrated. I would get very angry at her about this. Well, I asked her to wear lingerie for me, dress up, which she did begrudgingly. She wasn't getting satisfied, but I tried everything. In '79, we separated, and I had sex with 2 other women who were both very satisfied. I came to see her to get her back, and we said, well, we'll try some more. While we were driving back home, I heard this voice, loud and clear. It said, don't do this. You'll be sorry. Don't do this. You'll be sorry. Well, I guess that was my inner voice. When I had a hip replacement, she refused to come with me to the hospital. I was scared. I had a lot of anxiety and stress, and she said, well, maybe we should get a divorce. I don't know if I could ever forgive her for saying that. Well, yes, I was very hurt. Last time we had sex was 9 years ago. My aunt had died. And then it was just a good night kiss after that. It was selfish of her not to give of herself. I had given and given and given. Well, I would have put the cabin in both our names if we'd had a tight relationship. Wasn't her place to tell me what to do. A group of us men started it. No, I wasn't trying to get even. I just couldn't give anymore. I became very controlling, yes. Well, I'm a manager of over 100 people. Lead, manage, control, and she was wishy-washy. Oh, you couldn't get a yes or no answer out of her. I would show her how to fill up the ice cube trays so the cubes were the same size. See, if you tip it while you pour, they're all equal. Hers, there weren't even cubes in some of them. I'd show her how to do it this way, and she'd get defiant. Yes, I think there is a resentment there because of her mother. Well, I know she's having an affair behind my back. I know it. That younger guy from our meditation group, they spend a lot of time together alone. I know they're having very intense lovemaking. I just know it. I want my share. I cannot forgive this. He has read my journal and taped my phone calls. I feel violated and misunderstood. He thinks I have had a sexual awakening and he wants in on the action. I have decided to let the chips fall where they may. I just don't care anymore. My sister and I were processing our relationship, trying to figure out what went wrong since childhood. And then my sister went and told my mother the things we've been talking about. Great boundaries. Thanks, Karen. And then my mother went and told my father those things and some other things that she was unhappy about. Thanks, Mom. Prompting my father to say, well, all this time, I thought I was a good husband and a good father, and now it turns out I'm neither. Here's what you do if this happens to you. You imagine it. Should I use a finger gun? You're not going anywhere! Merle, where did you get that gun? You lied to me! I lied to you to protect you from the truth of your affair. I am not having an affair. Yes, you are. I'm not. You are. You're not leaving here. I am. I'm walking out. She turns. She begins to open the screen door. He fires one shot. It misses, goes through the screen door. Startled, she turns around. He fires 4 shots into her. Ah! Ah! You will not leave me! bends over and he puts a bullet in her head. What does he do then? Smoke a cigarette? Watch TV? Put that loving card I sent him on the dresser so I'd find it? Rethink his suicide? Think about us? No. I bet like a good soldier, he went and got those 2 white sheets and covered her up and laid down and covered himself up and put a bullet in his head. Yeah, maybe he didn't want her to see it coming. He just wanted it all to be over. Yes, that's it. She begins to turn, open the screen door. He gets out the gun. He fires 1 shot, it misses and goes through the screen door. Startled, she turns around. He fires the other 4 shots into her. Oh, he's done it. He's done it. It's like he wakes up. Oh, no, he can't stand to see her suffer. Oh, he reaches down and puts a bullet in her head to make it stop. Oh. Sheets. Huh. I know. Maybe she dared him to do it. Yeah. Go ahead, Merle. Go ahead. I am doing this for my soul. Go ahead. Oh. She. She's still alive. Oh, Merle, what have you done? I can't live without you. You have to go with me. Reaches over, puts a bullet in her head, and then he kills himself too. Well, at least he kills himself too. Who's gonna save my soul now? Who's gonna save my soul now? How will my story ever be told? How will my story be told? It's Christmas. Always a triggering time for me. Maybe a triggering time for you too. My wife and I are hosting the Christmas dinner. We've all been drinking a lot of wine. Our friends and family have gathered, and it's time to serve the gourmet beef stew I've made. She sets the table, but for some reason she cut corners and gives the 2 of us little coffee spoons. Cutting corners is so my mother. My dad liked brewed iced tea at dinner, but she used to give him instant just to piss him off. Oh, this is instant. I can taste it. Oh, God damn it. I become my father. I'm pretty drunk. Well, where's the soup spoons? Oh, well, there weren't any clean. I don't mind. Well, I mind. I want a soup spoon, God damn it. Oh, but my wife is not about to let anybody think I get away with talking to her like this. So she says, get it yourself. A nervous squirm goes throughout the table, and somebody mutters something about a little marital discord. When I talk to her the way my father talked to my mother, it is the most excruciating pain I know. I slay the dragon on a regular basis. Yeah, I didn't create it. I didn't deserve it, but it's in me. Why does she stay? Oh, I know why I stay. I'm just a little animal who needs someplace safe to be. Or is it? Why do you stay? Why do they stay with you? We stay even though we hate the other person sometimes, their drama, their self-involvement, their obsessions. We hate them, and yet we stay. Because we're afraid of what will happen to us if we don't. I know myself. I know that without a loving home with someone, I will do dangerous and destructive things to myself. I don't know why I will do this, but I know I will. Maybe my mother knew this about herself, that without the constant grinding reality of everyday life with my father, she would just float away. Growing up in a time when women were almost still property, well, you had to get a man. Hey, get one now. They're back from the war and they're virile and ready to make your babies now. Come on, get one. We stay because we're afraid of facing the void. I know I am. But isn't life dry and scratchy without a mate, a lover, a spouse? My single friends over 50 are getting weirder and weirder. My friend Linda is a lesbian hoarder. Well, I mean, I don't think she's hoarding lesbians, but I don't know, maybe. It's the 10th anniversary of my parents' deaths. 2007, May, the cruelest month. I think I'm well enough to write about this stuff. Well, come on, aren't you over it yet? But there is no getting over it. There's only going through it. I got triggered by so many things at 5 years. The cadaver scenes on 6 Feet Under, the yellow police tape on the TV news, asshole drivers, asshole pedestrians, asshole bike riders. God, why are they so mad, huh? What is the matter? Huh? What? Because you can't afford a car, huh? Conflict with my wife or friends, hearing the word murder, my sister. Triggered is a word they use with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. It's what my dad had after the war. They didn't treat it back then. They barely treat it now. I wonder what happens over time when it's left untreated. The 10-year mark. Yeah, that magical number that's going to give me my life back. I decided to go on a retreat to read my mother's journals for the first time since her death. I head to the Red Rocks of Utah. Oh, yeah. I'm about 200 miles south of Salt Lake City, driving through the most spectacular part of this country. It's a big, fat American car, just like my dad's. I put a bootleg copy into the new Patti Smith record, 12. Yeah, Patti. Nobody can see me now. Nobody knows where I am. I do what I want. Nobody can judge me. The lights out. It's just dangerous. Here we are now. Entertain us. Yeah, woo! Yeah. Contagious. Yeah. I cut south off the interstate onto a narrow road through the Red Rock Canyon along the Colorado River on my way to, yes, another Holiday Inn Express in Moab, Utah. Maybe I should do an ad for them. Feeling insane? Check into a Holiday Inn Express. The road is getting windy and narrow, and there's a steep drop-off. All of that is okay, but I'm on the outside lane, and there's no guardrail. See, that's the trigger, just like Telluride. I start driving kind of in the middle of the road. I mean, obviously avoiding the oncoming cars. I mean, I don't want to die. But then why do I keep wondering what it would feel like, to just pull off the cliff like, woohoo, I did it, here I go, and bam, death. Oh, I dream about this. I dream about it. But in my dream, I always manage to wake up. And that's what I do here. I manage to pull the car over to the other side of the road and stop it and get out. Oh, it's hot. I try to call my wife. There's no signal. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I open both side car doors and squat down and pee between them like we used to do on vacation. It's better. It's hot. I get back in the car, and I turn on the engine and blast the air conditioner. And I'm not thinking about climate change now. And I lean the seat back, close my eyes. After about 20 minutes, I open my eyes and I think, well, I can't just stay here. So I pull the seat forward, put it into gear, and I pull back out onto the road. And as I approach the scary curve with the steep drop-off and no guardrail, I begin to talk to myself out loud, very loudly. It's okay, I've got you. I've got you, I'm here for you, I've got you.
Okay.
I know you're little.
I'm little.
Poor little.
Poor little.
I know, honey, it's okay, I love you, I've got you. I know how to drive, I love you, honey, I'm strong, I've got you.
Okay.
See, we're out of the scary part now, honey, it's okay, I've got you, I did it, we're okay.
Okay.
And I do this for the next several miles, parenting myself out of the fear and down the road. And that's what I've been doing for almost 15 years. I managed to pull over and wait until the wiser, stronger part of me can save me one more time.
From its ashes,